we developed this paper in the Federal University of Santa Catarina inside a laboratory for multi-criteria decision aid analysis. And the purpose of this paper was to create a performance evaluation model that would be able to capture the value and preferences of the decision makers and reflect those values and preferences in the model to better support the decision makers to take their decisions and achieve their goals, at the same time that it could develop the necessary knowledge in the decision maker. So the presentation is divided into 4 sections: the introduction, theoretical framework, case study, and conclusion. The introduction will have a brief contextualization and state the research object. So the paper was developed in a context where the study company as well as other companies were asking themselves how to consistently innovate to surpass customer expectations and at the same time reduce costs, reduce consumption of natural resources, and promote social responsibility. The new products are the common focus of such improvements, but also the supply chain operations can be a source of competitive advantage. And in this scenario, the performance evaluation methodologies can support the managers with the knowledge required to increase the supply chain competitiveness. Mainly the performance evaluation methodologies that have a constructive systemic perspective. And I'll tell you about this in the next slides. However, there are some gaps to be fulfilled in the performance evaluation methodologies. For example, we need a more constructivist approach to customize the models to the values and preferences of the decision maker. We need to fulfill the gap of the use of inappropriate measurement according to the principles of the measurement theory. And there is also a lack of structured process for diagnosing and improving the current situation. In this way, we stated the research object as the following: to develop a supply chain performance evaluation model capable of reflecting the values and preferences of the decision makers and of providing them the knowledge to make decisions that improve their performance according to their perception. In this way, the theoretical framework for this paper is based on supply chain management and performance evaluation, and also on the MCDC methodology. As supply chain management, we understand that it comprehends a wide range of processes, entities, and management dimensions that act together to add value to customers and stakeholders. And when it comes to performance evaluation, the definition adopted by this paper was that is the management process used to build, establish, and disseminate knowledge through the process that identifies, organizes, measures, and integrates the aspects deemed relevant by the decision makers of a specific context, measuring to which degree they are achieved and generating a procedure to improve performance. Here are the citations of this definition. And the performance evaluation methodology adopted by this paper was the MCDC, which is the multi-criteria decision aid constructivist. It was formulated in the 90s by the works of Roy, Landry, Kinney, Bunny Costa, and then it became formalized by the paper of Ensling in 2010. It differs from different performance evaluation methodologies in the following points. It allows the development of the decision maker's knowledge about the problem context. It allows the identification and relevant aspects according to the decision maker values. It uses measurement scales that are anchored to reference levels, and thus it avoids unbalanced correlation between the measures. And it also has a well-defined process to improve performance through innovative solutions. The construction of the MCDC model has 3 main phases: the structuring phase, evaluation phase, and recommendations phase. And we will go throughout these phases in the case study, which is the next session. So in the structuring phase, we have a brief contextualization, then the construction of the hierarchical structure of value, and construction of descriptors. The case study was developed using a Brazilian cooling solutions company with business units in Brazil, China, Italy, Slovakia, and USA. And it has products that are applied in housing, commercial, and automotive industries. It's a leader in its market nowadays. However, it's facing some challenges, like a growing demand from the market for better service and product quality, and new competitors that have been offering increasingly competitive products and prices to the customers. This company, the Vice President of Operations, is responsible to manage the supply chain operations, and he's seeking to acquire a better knowledge about this context to make decisions that lead to achieving his goals. So in this way you can see here the system of actors involved in this decisional context. We have the decision maker, the Vice President of Operations, the intervenants, which are the managers of the operational areas, and the agents, which are affected by the decisions, that are the employees and stakeholders of the company's operations. The facilitators of this model were the authors of this paper. After this contextualization, the next step in the construction of the MCDC model is to define primary elements of evaluation, which are represent the first aspects, reference, actions, desires, goals, and constraints of the problem, as expressed by the decision maker. And with these primary elements of evaluation, we construct concepts that orient them to action. The concepts are composed of a desired pole that shows the preferred direction of the decision maker, and a contrast pole that shows the psychological opposite. Here we have some examples of the primary elements of evaluation and concepts developed for this model. I can cite the conversion cost, where we have the concept to reduce the conversion costs instead of not having prices that are competitive in the market. So after defining all the concepts according to the decision maker's perception, we organized them into areas of concern that organize the concepts in groups that represent similar strategic aspects. So here for the model, we basically have three major areas of concern: the operational excellence, sustainability, and people. And then we have the sub-areas of concern, and for each group of concepts, here we have the number of the concepts. We developed a map called was interested in knowing what would be the impact of applying the lean thinking to the company, and compare it to the impact of implementing an advanced planning system to the company. So with this in hand, we simulated what would be the impact of this improvement in the points of view of the model. And with this, we could calculate the global value of performance for each one of these improvements. We have the lean thinking with a potential of 73 points, and the advanced planning system with a potential of 63 points, 10 points below. So that we can talk about some conclusions of this paper. The main findings were that the administrator had a better foundation for making decisions about which alternatives to adopt to improve the company's supply chain performance. And he decided to adopt the lean thinking implementation as the major action of the company to improve its performance. But he also defined some improvements in the planning system, in the local points where he found some potential in the previous evaluation. The main contributions of this paper are to the theoretical framework, largely due to the proposals to fill the identified gaps in the literature, and also it shows a practical contribution because it applied the MCDC methodology to a real case in a global company. As further studies, the authors recommend to apply the MCDC to other business units of the company, which would allow a global evaluation and collaborative benchmarks among the business units. Also to apply the MCDC to customers and suppliers of this company in order to provide support and increase the synergy among the organizations in the supply chain. And also to apply the MCDC to other supply chains, which will contribute with valuable information for improving the methodology itself and to improve the other supply chains as well. Here we have some references that were used by this paper, and that's what I would like to show you today. Thank you for your attention. I'm open to questions, suggestions.
Have any query? If you have any, sorry. If you have any query, please ask.
I think he presented it so well that he has already answered most of our questions.
Questions may be there. Okay, if you have no query, please give a big hands for him again.
Yes.